Hi, and welcome to your ticket to Snoozeville. My name is Suzanne, and I'm your host. Every week on this show, we explore a different aspect of sleep. And every week, I use a new technique to help you relax and fall asleep. Tonight, we're talking about dreams. And then I'll take you through a progressive relaxation and visualization to prime you for good dreams and send you off into sound sleep. In your life, you've probably experienced a few unpleasant dreams, maybe even nightmares. And while those bad dreams can leave you feeling unsettled and anxious, good dreams have the opposite effect. When we wake, our minds and bodies often carry the positive effects of those good dreams with us into the day. Your body may feel lighter and more relaxed, and your mind clearer, as though you've been wrapped in a blanket of positive energy while you slept. Scientists have found that good dreams can influence our mood for hours after waking. And that's why it's so important to create conditions for good dreams. And that's what we're going to try and do tonight. We'll prime your mind for positive dreaming and hopefully lull you into a deep sleep. Before we move forward, I would just like to thank you for supporting this podcast by listening. And I invite you to follow us. Every Friday, a new episode is released, and we explore a new and different method of inducing sleep. The more methods you try, the more likely it is that you'll hit on that one thing that helps you achieve sleep. I would also, as I always do, like to remind you that before we go any further, please ensure that you are somewhere in which it is safe to fall asleep. That's very important. I'm hoping that at this moment, you are tucked safely in bed. So let's talk about one of the most fascinating aspects of sleep, our dreams. Every night, as we drift off, our minds embark on remarkable journeys through dreamscapes that can be beautiful, strange, and sometimes even unsettling. Centuries ago, we believed that dreams were messages from the gods. Freud was one of the first to study dreams scientifically, and he thought that dreams were a window into our unconscious mind, our hidden thoughts, wishes, and desires. He thought of dreams as secret messages from our unconscious. While many of Freud's ideas about dreams are no longer accepted, he was one of the first people to suggest that dreams have psychological meaning. And today we know a lot more. Scientists now believe that dreams serve several important functions for our brain and emotional well-being. Think of dreams as your brain's nightly maintenance crew, working on several important jobs. They help process your memories. While you sleep, your brain sorts through the day's experiences through dreams and deciding which memories to keep and which to file away. They also act as a kind of emotional therapy session. When you have difficult experiences during the day, your dreams help you process these emotions in a safe space. It's like watching a replay of a tough situation, but with the emotional volume turned down. And then there's threat simulation. Sometimes scary or unpleasant dreams serve as a training ground, helping your brain prepare for potential real-life challenges. It's like your brain is running fire drills while you sleep, helping you be better prepared for difficult situations. And your brain needs this nightly processing time. While we still don't understand everything about dreams, we know they're an essential part of keeping your mind healthy and functioning well. The good news is that we have more influence over our dreams than you might think. Dreams tend to be more pleasant when we prepare our minds before sleep. So let's prepare ourselves by creating a gentle space for your mind to drift into more peaceful dreams. Find a comfortable position and take a few soft breaths, allowing your body to settle. Instead of letting your mind wander to worries or tensions from the day, let's intentionally guide it toward any positive moments you experienced today. Maybe someone smiled at you today, or you felt the warmth of sunlight on your face. Take a moment to recall a few of these moments, no matter how small they might seem. Let yourself really feel the warmth of these memories. And finally, take a moment to express gratitude for your cozy bed, for the quiet of the night, and for the chance to rest and renew. As you do this, you're creating a protective cushion of positive thoughts around yourself. Remember, your mind listens to the messages you give it just before you sleep. So these last few minutes are precious. Fill them with thoughts of love, safety, and peace. And now, place one hand on your belly, just below your ribs. As you breathe, imagine your belly like a gentle ocean wave. When you inhale, your belly should rise like a wave swelling. When you exhale, feel it fall like a wave receding from the shore. This is called diaphragmatic breathing, and it's the body's natural way of breathing during deep relaxation. Take a deep, gentle breath now. Feel your belly rise and exhale slowly, feeling it fall. Continue this soothing rhythm as we move through a progressive relaxation of your body. Let's begin with your feet. Curl your toes gently, creating a little tension, and hold for a moment. and then release. Feeling any tension melt away like snow in warm sunshine. Feel warmth and relaxation flowing into your feet. Moving to your ankles and calves. Gently flex the muscles in your calves and hold that tension for a moment. And then release, letting your muscles become soft and heavy. With each release, your breathing remains deep and steady, your belly rising and falling like peaceful waves. And now bring your awareness to your knees and thighs. Create a gentle tension by pressing your legs together. Hold. And then release, feeling them sink heavily into the surface beneath you. Notice how each muscle relaxation deepens your sense of peace. Your hips and lower back now. Gently arch your lower back, gently, and hold. And then release, letting your lower body melt into profound relaxation. Your breathing continues slow and steady, each breath bringing you deeper and deeper into tranquility. Moving to your stomach muscles, gently tighten them and hold, and then release, feeling your belly become soft and relaxed, allowing your breath to flow even more freely and deeply. Your chest and upper back, stretch them slightly and hold. Then release, letting any remaining tension drain away. Feel how your whole torso now participates in each peaceful breath. Your shoulders and neck, where we often hold so much tension, raise your shoulders towards your ears and then hold that. Hold and release, feeling them drop away from your ears as relaxation flows like warm honey through these muscles. Your arms and hands. Tighten your arms. Tighten your fist. And hold. And then release. Letting your arms, your wrists, your hands become heavy and peaceful. Imagine warm relaxation flowing all the way to your fingertips. Finally, your face and scalp. Gently scrunch all your facial muscles. Hold them. And then release. Feeling any remaining tension dissolve. Let your jaw be loose. Your forehead smooth. your entire face peaceful and serene. Your whole body is now wrapped in a blanket of deep relaxation. Your breathing should be slow, steady, and deep. And now we're going to engage in a creative visualization to leave your conscious and unconscious mind in a receptive state for positive, gentle, and pleasant dreaming. As you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine that you're being gently embraced by a warm, bright, and healing light that forms around you like a rainbow shield, a cocoon of pure, loving energy. Let's build this shield together, color by color, allowing each hue to contribute its unique healing properties. Begin with red, the color of life force itself. It's associated with luck and love and power. Like a warm sunrise, it bathes you in strength and vitality. Feel the red light pulsing gently, reaching every cell in your body, replenishing your energy reserves while you rest. Let this nurturing red light embrace you as you drift deeper into relaxation. Now, feel the gentle emergence of orange light, warm as a summer sunset. This is the color of emotional strength and confidence flowing through your shield. Orange light brings deep cellular restoration, allowing every part of you to grow stronger. Watch as golden yellow light begins to dance through your shield, bright as sunbeams on a perfect morning. This is the light of pure joy and optimism, wrapping you in happiness that will carry through into tomorrow. Feel its warmth filling your heart with peace and contentment. Now, emerald green light flows into your shield. This is the color of nature's healing wisdom. Like a forest canopy, it filters through your being, dissolving any tension or discomfort. Green light brings renewal and growth, refreshing your spirit as you rest deeper still. Blue light now ripples through your shield. Blue is the color of calmness. It's also the color of open spaces, freedom, and inspiration. Surrounded by the color blue, you feel both stable and tranquil, protected from any chaos or turmoil. Blue light keeps you safe from any disturbance, allowing your mind to float free in perfect calm. Purple light now enters your shield, the color of divine wisdom and peaceful dreams. It soothes your thoughts into clarity and peace. Feel it quieting your mind, preparing you for the deepest, most refreshing sleep. Watch now in wonder as these beautiful colors begin to dance together, weaving through and around each other like the northern lights in a starlit sky. They merge into pure, radiant white light, the light of universal love and protection. This white light seals your rainbow shield, making it permanent and unbreakable. This shield is now your constant nighttime companion, activating automatically each time you prepare for sleep. It will guard your dreams, keeping them gentle and positive, while allowing your mind and body to fully restore themselves. Feel yourself wrapped in this cocoon of rainbow light, knowing that you are deeply loved and completely protected. Rest now, knowing that this shield of light will watch over you throughout the night. Let go completely, trusting that your sleep will be deep and refreshing, your dreams sweet. Sleep now, held safely in this embrace of rainbow light, knowing that you are cherished and protected as you rest. When you wake, you will be prepared to face your daily challenges with resilience and optimism. And while you enjoy this relaxed state, keep focused on the sound of my voice. The content is not important. You can drift off to sleep at any time. My voice keeping you company as I read Chapter 14 of Treasure Island. Chapter 14, The First Blow. I was so pleased at having given the slip to Long John that I began to enjoy myself and look around me with some interest on the strange land that I was in. I had crossed a marshy tract full of willows, bulrushes, and odd outlandish swampy trees, and I had now come out upon the skirts of an open piece of undulating sandy country, about a mile long, dotted with a few pines and a great number of contorted trees, not unlike the oak in growth, but pale in the foliage, like willows. On the far side of the open stood one of the hills, with two quaint, craggy peaks shining vividly in the sun. I now felt for the first time the joy of exploration. The isle was uninhabited. My shipmates I had left behind, and nothing lived in front of me but dumb brutes and fowls. I turned hither and thither among the trees. Here and there were flowering plants, unknown to me. Here and there I saw snakes, and one raised his head from a ledge of rock and hissed at me with a noise not unlike the spinning of a top. Little did I suppose that he was a deadly enemy, and that the noise was the famous rattle. Then I came to a long thicket of these oak-like trees, live or evergreen. Oaks, I heard afterwards they should be called, which grew low along the sand like brambles. The boughs curiously twisted, the foliage compact like thatch. The thicket stretched down from the top of one of the sandy knolls, spreading and growing taller as it went, until it reached the margin of the broad, reedy fen, through which the nearest of the little rivers soaked its way into the anchorage. The marsh was streaming in the strong sun, and the outline of the spyglass trembled through the haze. All at once, there began to go a sort of bustle among the bulrushes. A wild duck flew up with a quack. Another followed, and soon over the whole surface of the marsh, a great cloud of birds hung, screaming and circling in the air. I judged at once that some of my shipmates must be drawing near along the borders of the fen. Nor was I deceived, for soon I heard the very distant and low tones of a human voice, which, as I continued to give ear, grew steadily louder and nearer. This put me in a great fear, and I crawled under cover of the nearest live oak and squatted there hearkening, as silent as a mouse. Another voice answered, and then the first voice, which I now recognized to be Silver's, once more took up the story and ran on for a long while in a stream, only now and again interrupted by the other. By the sound, they must have been talking earnestly and almost fiercely, but no distinct word came to my hearing. At last the speakers seemed to have paused, and perhaps to have sat down, for not only did they cease to draw any nearer, but the birds themselves began to grow more quiet and to settle again to their places in the swamp. And now I began to feel that I was neglecting my business, that since I had been so foolhardy as to come ashore with these desperadoes, the least I could do was to overhear them at their counsels, and that my plain and obvious duty was to draw as close as I could manage, under the favorable ambush of the crouching trees. I could tell by the direction of the speakers pretty exactly, not only by the sound of their voices, but by the behavior of the few birds that still hung in alarm above the heads of the intruders. Crawling on all fours, I made steadily but slowly towards them, till at last, raising my head to an aperture among the leaves, I could see clear down into the little green dell beside the marsh, and closely set about with trees, where Long John Silver and another of the crew stood face to face in conversation. The sun beat full upon them. Silver had thrown his hat beside him on the ground, and his great, smooth, blonde face, all shining with heat, was lifted to the other man's in a kind of appeal. "Mate," he was saying, "it's because I thinks gold dust of you. Gold dust, and you may lay to that. If I hadn't took to you like pitch, Do you think I'd have been here warning of you? All's up. You can't make nor mend. It's to save your neck that I'm a-speaking. And if one of the wild ones knew it, where I'd be. Tom, now tell me, where I'd be. Silver, said the other man, and I observed he was not only red in the face, but spoke as hoarse as a crow, and his voice shook, too, like a taut rope. Silver, says he, you're old, and you're honest, or has the name for it, and you've money, too, which lots of poor sailors hasn't, and you're brave, or I'm mistook. And will you tell me you'll let yourself be led away with that kind of a mess of swabs? Not you. As sure as God sees me, I'd sooner lose my hand. If I turn again my duty, and then, all of a sudden, he was interrupted by a noise. I had found one of the honest hands. Well, here, at that moment, came news of another. Far away, out in the marsh, there arose, all of a sudden, a sound like the cry of anger. Then another on the back of it, and then one long-drawn scream. The rocks of the spyglass re-echoed it a score of times. The whole troop of marsh birds rose again, darkening heaven, with a simultaneous whir. And long after that death yell was still ringing in my brain, silence had reestablished its empire, and only the rustle of the redescending birds and the boom of the distant surges disturbed the languor of the afternoon. Tom had leapt at the sound like a horse at the spur, but Silver had not winked an eye. He stood where he was, resting lightly on his crutch, watching his companion like a snake about to spring. John, said the sailor, stretching out his hand. Hands off, cried Silver, leaping back a yard, as it seemed to me, with the speed and security of a trained gymnast. Hands off, if you like, John Silver, said the other. It's a black conscience that can make you feared of me. But in heaven's name, tell me, what was that? That, returned Silver, smiling away, but warier than ever, his eye a mere pinpoint in his big face, but gleaming like a crumb of glass. Oh, I reckon that'll be Alan. And at that point, Tom flashed out like a hero. Alan, he cried. Then rest his soul for a true seaman. And as for you, John Silver, long you've been a mate of mine, but you're mate of mine no more. If I die like a dog, I'll die in my duty. You've killed Alan, have you? Kill me too, if you can, but I defies you. And with that, this brave fellow turned his back directly on the cook and set off walking for the beach. But he was not destined to go far. With a cry, John seized the branch of a tree, whipped the crutch out of his armpit, and sent that uncouth missile hurtling through the air. It struck poor Tom, point foremost, and with stunning violence right between the shoulders in the middle of his back. His hands flew up. He gave a sort of gasp and fell. Whether he were injured much or little, none could ever tell. Like enough, to judge from the sound, His back was broken on the spot, but he had no time given him to recover. Silver, agile as a monkey, even without leg or crutch, was on top of him next moment and had twice buried his knife up to the hilt in that defenseless body. From my place of ambush, I could hear him pant aloud as he struck the blows. I do not know what it rightly is to faint, but I do know that for the next little while, the whole world swam away from before me in a whirling mist. Silver and the birds, and the tall spyglass hilltop, going round and topsy-turvy before my eyes, and all manner of bells ringing and distant voices shouting in my ear. When I came again to myself, the monster had pulled himself together, his crutch under his arm, his hat upon his head. Just before him, Tom lay motionless, but the murderer minded him not a whit, cleaning his blood-stained knife the while upon a wisp of grass. Everything else was unchanged. The sun still shining mercilessly on the steaming marsh and the tall pinnacle of the mountain. And I could scarce persuade myself that murder had been actually done and a human life cruelly cut short. And welcome to your ticket to my eyes. But now, John my name is Suzanne, into and I'm your host, brought out a whistle, and blew every week on this several modulated blasts, a different aspect that rang far across the and every week air. I use a new technique. I could not to help you relax and fall asleep. The meaning of the signal, but it instantly tonight we're talking about dreams. More and then I'll take you through a progressive relaxation discovered and visualization. They had already slain to prime you for good dreams. Honest people. After send Tom you and Alan into sound might sleep. Not I come next? In your life, I probably experienced a few unpleasant crawl back dreams, again, maybe even nightmares. With what speed and silence, and while those bad dreams can leave you feeling open unsettled of the wood and anxious, as I did good dreams have the opposite. I could hear hails coming and going between the old buccaneer, our minds and bodies. Often carry the sound of danger of those good dreams with us into the day. As soon as I was clear of the thicket, your body I ran feel lighter as I have never ran more before, relaxed, scarce minding the direction of my flight, as though you've so been wrapped as in a blanket of positive energy while you slept. And as I ran, fear grew and grew. Scientists have found that good dreams turned into a kind of frenzy for hours after waking. Indeed, could anyone be more entirely and that's why it's so important to create conditions when the gun good fired. How should I dare that's what to go down to try and do tonight among those fiends? Will prime your mind from their for positive dreaming, and hopefully would not the first of them who saw me into a deep wring my neck like a snipe's? Would not my absence itself before we move be an forward, evidence to them? I would just like to thank you for supporting this podcast of my fatal knowledge. And I invite you to follow us. Goodbye every Friday, a new episode is released. Goodbye we explore a new doctor and different method the captain of inducing sleep. There was nothing left for me. The more methods you try, starvation, the more likely it is death by that you'll hit on that one thing that helps you. All this while, as I say, I was still running, as I always do, and like without remind you any that notice, before we go any further, I had drawn near. Please ensure that you are somewhere in which it is the two peaks to fall asleep, and had got into a part of the island. I'm hoping the that at this moment grew more widely apart safely in bed and seemed more like forest trees in their bearing and dimensions. So let's talk about one of the most fascinating aspects were a few scattered pines, our dreams. some 50. Every night, some
as we
near
drift
70 feet high, our minds embark
the air
on
too
remarkable
smelt more
journeys
freshly than
through
down beside the
dreamscapes
marsh.
that can be
And here,
beautiful,
a fresh alarm
strange,
brought me to a standstill,
and sometimes even
with a thumping
unsettling.
heart.
Centuries ago, we believed that dreams were messages from the gods. Freud was one of the first to study dreams scientifically, and he thought that dreams were a window into our unconscious mind, our hidden thoughts, wishes, and desires. He thought of dreams as secret messages from our unconscious. While many of Freud's ideas about dreams are no longer accepted, he was one of the first people to suggest that dreams have psychological meaning. And today we know a lot more. Scientists now believe that dreams serve several important functions for our brain and emotional well-being. Think of dreams as your brain's nightly maintenance crew, working on several important jobs. They help process your memories. While you sleep, your brain sorts through the day's experiences through dreams and deciding which memories to keep and which to file away. They also act as a kind of emotional therapy session. When you have difficult experiences during the day, your dreams help you process these emotions in a safe space. It's like watching a replay of a tough situation, but with the emotional volume turned down. And then there's threat simulation. Sometimes scary or unpleasant dreams serve as a training ground, helping your brain